There it is. There it is. Okay, I'll learn more after. Let me see if this mic is working, man. Mic check, mic check. What's up, big Droops? Look at that, Droops happy. Making sure that mic works. Anybody can tell me they can hear me on the mic. It'd be nice. Well, actually, probably not. Let me see. Let me see here. All right, there we go. We hear you. We hear you. All right. I wonder if you're hearing me off the mic or you guys are hearing me off of. Can you hear me from back here? Let me see. What's going on, everybody? The warden of the Yarda is in the building. Man, it's been cracking off over here, carnal. I've been, people asking, where you been, Gil? As you guys can see, I was at the park on Saturday giving out birds with everybody out there, man. Appreciate everybody who came out. I've still been busy in my community doing my thing. I haven't gone anywhere. I've stepped back from the podcast scene for a minute just because it seems kind of stagnant, man. Everything just kind of, it just, to me personally, wasn't making any more sense anymore. And it seems like the only thing that pushes any kind of algorithm or anything on YouTube, Instagram, or anywhere else is just nothing but pure negativity, bro. Like, people fighting about who's the number one podcast and who's the best Raza podcast. And in my head, I'm thinking, bro, we're still in the gutter, bro. Like, we haven't moved up anything. I mean, nobody's really breaking any barriers. It's like saying who is the best rapper in the alley in the hood. I mean, like, it really doesn't matter, bro. I mean, to me, all the guys who are like, wanting to say they're the bestest, but they ain't doing shit in their community. I mean, if you're bragging about making all this money, like the drunken dropout over there, if you're bragging about making all this money, why don't you do something in your community, man? Why don't you help out? But the reality is that a lot of these guys out here, it's just, it's just a money play, and I get that. But when people call you out on that money play, don't get upset at people, because they're just doing what some of you guys that are getting called out have been doing for years. And now it seems like more and more these guys are getting exposed, because you see people now. Listen, everybody thinks that it's like it's because some guy's a dropout or something. Nah, bro. Listen, man. Most people in the real world could give two shits about any of that, bro. They really do. But the reality is, when you're out here opening your mouth, disrespecting other people, calling people out of their name, and you're in a much worse situation, what do you expect, bro? Karma in life has a way of working these things out, and that's exactly what's going on right now on YouTube. It's working these things out, and that's why you see a lot of people going at people's necks. I mean, it's very simple, bro. Very simple. Let me break this thing down to you. For a lot of people who just don't know or don't know anything about the game or anything, and I'm not saying the game is a great game. I'm saying don't play that game. Do not play that gangbang game. Do not play that that going to jail game. Do not, to me personally, just don't play it, bro. But if you are gonna play it, know what you're getting yourself into, man. And to sit here as a grown man and say something like, even though nobody says it, but this is what it is. If you debriefed, you snitched. That is, and if you say you debriefed but you didn't snitch, that is the equivalent of saying you have sex with men but you're not gay. All right, you listen to what I'm saying? Anybody who has debriefed and says they did not snitch is only equivalent to a man who has sex with other men but says they are not gay. One can't go without the other. It just doesn't work like that. But in reality, most people on the internet, they don't really care, bro. What it is hiding it and trying to act like you're something else. Something. Come on, brother. That's the crazy part that's going on right now. Yeah, big night, right? You reap what you sow, homie. That's exactly what it is. You reap what you sow. Oh man, and it's just crazy. People are just going back and forth with each other. A little bit of Wawa. Just came back from the gym. I'm going. Our head are going through a lot right now, and your presence would help. That's my opinion. With all due respect, I get it, unadapted, but it's man, it just started feeling more and more like a job. It started feeling like a losing battle because I can go online and I proved it time and time again. I can go online and get on somebody's helmet about something and bring all this drama, even though I'm not looking for it, but just because you're calling somebody out, right? And then what happens is half of your people start turning your back on you, want you to crash out, want you to do stupid stuff. And if you do crash out and all that, nobody's gonna be there to help you. This reminds me of back in the 90s when I was in the hood and I'm putting in work, I'm going out of YA, I'm putting in work, I'm going, and then I go to YA for the third time and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm the only dummy over here putting in work like this. I'm the only dummy not wasting my time, but taking so much time out of my day, putting so much money out of my pocket, doing all this stuff. And at the end, it's like, not so much that even the reward, bro. It would be like if you're going and you're doing some kind of workout and you've been doing it for years and there's no gains, bro. So to me, at some point, I had to say, you know what? I'm not gonna sit here and just be beefing with people, going back and forth. I'm the best. This, brother. I have a damn good life, man. I had a good life before YouTube, and I continue to have that good life because I work. I take care of business. And life is work. Marriage is work. Having relationship with friends and family is work. It's not something that's just given to you. If you stop working at it, the relationships start failing. If you stop working at work, the work stops failing, oh boy. And what I've been doing lately, I've been working at home for the last 2 months that I've been taking off of YouTube. I've been, heck, I worked in here, had a leak underneath the bathroom, did the drywall, did my pavers in my house, fixed up my stucco, like all the stuff that I had neglected in my own home just because of YouTube. I started catching up on, and it was a long list. And luckily, I'm kind of caught up with the list, man. And that's why I'm sitting here doing this live because I finally got this place cleaned up. It's a little bit of a mess back there, but I finally got my pool room cleaned up. I got my man cave back because it was a lot of work, and it's been a lot of work. Let's see what this is. Ta-da. There you go. All right. Okay, good. Yeah, it gets overwhelming sometimes, but listen, I was doing this for years, bro. Coming home, hitting Monday to the studio, Tuesday to the studio. I was in the studio just about no, I would say at least 4 days out of the week, maybe 5 days out of the week. Or not. And at some point, I know Droopy was trying to tell me, keep it going, Gil. It's not like I told him. At some point, it's just like, how many, you got to know when to kind of just shut it down and chill back and just enjoy the ride. And that's kind of what I've been doing these last few months. I've been watching all the crazy stuff with Israel. All of a sudden, Tucker Carlson is the bad guy. Candace Owens is the bad guys. Anybody who talks against or not even talks against, just has an opinion about Israel is a horrible person. MAGA has a big civil war. The YouTube Yarda has a big civil war. You have the same podcaster beefing with one another. And it's like I saw some people at the park, like there was guys that I didn't know, right? Uh, they're at the park, they're at the line. I was telling people about, hey, just grab one bird per family. Yada, yada. One guy kind of screams out at me, "What's up, Gil, when you're bringing the podcast back?" And I told him, I don't know if I am, bro. I said, it's a lot of drama. I didn't sign up for that. The reason I ended up leaving the streets was because I wanted to get away from all that, bro. I wanted to enjoy my life, do my thing. And when I first came on YouTube, the whole point of it was to kind of, you know, show my experience and hopefully have young guys learn from my experience, even older guys learn from my experience. Because I ran into another guy over there at the turkey giveaway. He's like, bro, I knew this was your neighborhood. I saw the park. There was all kind of people. He came with his daughter. started telling me a little bit of a story that he just got out in like 21. I think in 2021 he did about 20 years, and that that it was all bull. And I told him a story about a guy I saw on TikTok, which I understand what the guy was saying, but at the same time, I think this is the mentality that keeps getting us back into these situations. A guy on TikTok was talking about he did 20 years, and thank God for that. It saved his life. Now he has a kid, family, wife, and that he thanks God he went to prison because it made him the man that he is today. But I hate to break the news to a lot of you guys do all that time. That's not what made you the man that you are today if you're out here working, taking care of business. It just unfortunately took something like that, but eventually it was you maturing as a man. It was maturity that made you into a man. Because I've seen many guys, you see a few on YouTube here that act like 15-year-olds, bro, and have done over 20 years and still act like kids. So it's not prison that will make you a man. What makes you a man most of the time is having another positive, productive man in your life. So when you're a father and you're in prison for all those years, there's a very good chance, the high probability that your kids, especially if they're boys, are not going to turn out to be productive men. They're going to follow in your footsteps. So to me, my advice is you don't got to go to the joint. You don't got to get these young kids to sit there and believe they got to go waste 20 years of their life. And that's what you're doing, whether you want to admit it or not. I know a lot of guys do all this time. They don't want to admit that because it's a hard pill to swallow, homie. But if you're doing decades in prison, that's something you can never make back. You can always make back more money, homie. You can always make back more money. You can, like at the job where I'm at, they just want the productivity. Why? Because time is money. So if you've lost 20 years of your life and you came out here and changed, it wasn't so much that the 20 years changed you, it was that you matured. Out here, sometimes it takes, just somebody to be positive to you, somebody to be a role model to you, somebody to be a mentor to you and tell you, hey, carnal, that just ain't the way. So I'm hoping that a lot of these guys out here who have done all this time will tell the youngster, because what I see on YouTube now, unfortunately, is the same thing. I mean, it's I said it on I think a phone call I got, that it's like the streets have taken over the internet again, bro. It's like it's back to fools beefing with one another, fools talking shit to one another. It's back to just the prison genre, and I went here and I went there. If you're not in a level 4, you're not about this, you're not about that. And what that does is that pushes to youngsters who are just joining hoods. Damn, oh man, I gotta go to prison to be a man. I gotta go to this level 4 to be a man. I gotta go, and that's what it does, bro. And it's anti-productive, counterproductive is the word I'm actually looking for. It's counterproductive, and that's why to me I was like, I don't want anything to do with that shit anymore. Mm. And that's why I stepped away. Nowadays it's all about the hood vlogs and fools giving up their hood and just not showing a pathway to become, just productive members of society, man. Some people think that's a sellout word, that's a cop out word, but anybody who's ever been in any kind of gangs or any kind of trouble, if you ask them, you want this for your kids, they're gonna tell you, hell no, homie. Nobody wanted this shit for their kids, carnal. You're gonna have the live stream with the youngsters again. Don't know them by name, but the bearded dude and the two cats. The bearded dude and the those fools ain't youngsters. You're talking about Droops and Boo Boo Bear, man. What's up, Big Droops? I see Droops behind the park in here, homeboy. Cubule carnal, you know what it is. Hoodstar TV. Exposed to. Trucha gonna expose to, man. Wherever we grow up, you can mature into a man. It doesn't matter the streets, prison. You either grow or you're not. Unfortunately, our families suffer when you're in prison. Yeah, that's what it is, bro. And that's the only thing I've been trying to convey. So when I sometimes from the past pushed on some of these prison content creators, people would say, "Oh, you're a hater. Oh, you just wanted." Bro, you could have probably used that. You wanted to go to the joint when I was like 16 to about 21 years old, homeboy. Really thought that, oh my God, this is where I want to be. This is where I want to be in life. But luckily, I stepped off that train where most people had to stay on that train. They didn't figure out until 5, 10 years into their 20-year bid that this ain't what it is, bro. They promise. When I say they, I say the game, homie. The game of gang banging the streets. When you're young, it promises you think glory and your status, and you're gonna do this, and you're gonna go to the hood, and you're gonna be loved. You're gonna be nah, bro. Nah, it's gonna eat you up, spit you out, and if you want to go back to the game, it's gonna be the same cycle, carnal. And that's all we're trying to do, homie. The YouTube yarda is strictly entertain. Yeah, it's strictly entertainment, but it has real life consequences. And that's what a lot of these people who are, let's say, subscribers to this stuff, they'll be like, somebody's status doesn't matter. And let me tell you something. On a personal basis, on a man to man, if you rolled it up in jail, bro, I'm not gonna judge you for that. I don't know what you went through to roll it up. If you even snitched on somebody, bro, I'm not gonna judge you. I'm not gonna condone it, but I'm not gonna judge you. I can't sit there and say I'm in your shoes and know what you're doing. But if you did all that and then you're on YouTube talking high power, talking gangsters, calling other people names, calling other people's PCs, doing all that when you in the same boat, like what sense does that make? I mean, because what it is you start putting on this persona so other people could think, oh man, that's exactly what I want to be. Look at that guy. He's this and that. Nah, what that guy is, he's a perfect example of why you shouldn't join gangs, homie. He's a perfect example of why you should stay away from that life. Like I say, people at the beginning would sit there and think that was here politicking, that you trying to be active. Nah, bro, that couldn't be the farthest thing from the truth, man. I just didn't want to associate with certain people because I knew what baggage they had. And I knew that, there are, only because I don't play them games. I still live here in the neighborhood, homie. Only because I don't play them games doesn't mean that fool in the alley doesn't play them games. And that's what a lot of these people who subscribe to these channels and think that it's all fun and games. Yeah, it's all fun and games until you run to the wrong one, but not. And what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to live my life and give lessons to, like I said, youngsters, young men and women, older men and women. I got people 40s and 50s, bro, that are just coming out of that tunnel. Because that's what it is. We get into the hood, you start off as a little youngster, not knowing the game, and little by little you get your feet wet, and then next thing you know, you're running full force, homie. But eventually, you're gonna hit that wall, bro. You're gonna hit that wall, and then you're done. And at what point are we gonna realize that it's just a cycle, homie? It's just a cycle that we keep going in circles and circle. Like I said, when I see what's going on nowadays, it's like, homie, it's very disappointing to see people who can really help others make a change and do better in life. But instead, what happens is, and this is what I've seen happen in my own hood, homie. You get guys who come out, and when they come out, hey, bro, I'm done. I'm good. There's guys who even, have turned fucking Cristianos or whatever it is. And there's nothing wrong with that, bro. That to me, I've seen many homies still today have turned Christian and they're doing their thing, brother. More power to them. To me, I love seeing my homies do good and taking care of their families, taking care of themselves, man, getting off the dope, right? But when you have these guys come out after doing long bids, and unfortunately, what happens is they burn the spot for the other guys in there because they come out and you start getting comfortable. May take a week, may take a month, may take a few years. They start getting comfortable and then they go back into their old ways. I mean, but if you're going back into your ways and you got some major smut on you, come on, homie, you got problems, carnal. So you can't sit here and end up, calling everybody else a hater, calling everybody else a liar. Only liar is that guy in the mirror, playboy, because you lying to yourself. You lying to everybody else. You lying to your family. You lying to your homies. Like, at what point do you sit there and just say, hey, you know what, dude? This is who I am. This is what I did. I fucked up. Do not go down this route. Do not go down this rabbit hole. because it's not a life that anybody wants to live, bro. It really isn't, and it's just a shame that it's a shame that we're down this route. Like I said, I've been doing YouTube for, I think I got my notification in like 7 years, homie, and it's all we're it's back into the hood, homie. It's back into, hey, homie, and that's why fools start fighting. Hey, homie, I remember, hey, oh, you haven't gone to camp. And somebody goes, well, you go to placement. After that, you go to camp. And after that, you juvenile hall. After that, you go to YA. And then people just bragging and bragging. And where I work at, ain't nobody give no fucks about how much time you did, homie. Ain't nobody give a fuck what level pinta you were in, homeboy. Like on some real shit. Ain't no real person you're gonna go up to and say, hey, homie, check this out, carnal. Why don't you give me a job? I just came off that level 4. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this fool talking about, bro? I'm sorry, but in the real world, nobody cares about that, bro. But in the YouTube world, if you're saying that and you don't snitch on somebody, you trying to act high power, homie, please, bro, homie, please. You can see it that nobody really cares about that, and that's fine, like I said. But when you trying to act all fucking high and mighty, and you over here doing that kind of shit, like, come on, Playboy, it's embarrassing, bro. It's embarrassing. Imagine being in jail and being able to fast forward and seeing what you're doing on the streets after so many years when you just wanted to get out of jail. I had a homie of mine. This was not this Sunday, but last Sunday. We're at a bar watching the Rams game, right? Rams and Seattle. And this homie of mine, he did 24 years straight in prison. He's been out for maybe, I think, like 3 years, bro. Maybe 4. Either way, he comes up to me. First of all, you would never in your life even know this guy did that much time. And most of the guys that I know that did that much time, you would never in your life know these guys did that much time. Actually, the way you may know is how respectful they are, how calm they are, and how they don't talk about that. This homie of mine just came up to me and he's like, hey, what's up with YouTube, dude? Because I haven't seen you. I told him I stepped away, dude. It's a lot of bullshit, a lot of drama, all these penitentiary fools. And he's like, hey, what's up with some of these guys, bro? And he's like, I see these guys and they talking all hot. I said, fool, you's a killer. I know many killers, homie. I know killers who are still in prison. I know killers who got out of prison. I know killers who never went to prison. And I haven't yet met one that's out there talking like that. Just sitting there, just, you know, woofing and talking all this high power and stuff. Que la pegada, they don't talk like that, homie. I hate to break the news to you. Fools that are killers like that, like I said, I know outside and inside, they don't speak like that, bro. They know what they did. Most of those guys, I would say 95, 99% of them regret what they did. I got a homie yesterday, he called me from the joint. He's been down for 20 something years. And he's hopefully gonna go to his first parole here in a few months. And after that, he'll hopefully get out in about 2 more years. Guess what? When he calls me up, he ain't talking all that, homie. Hey, homie, check. Nah, carnal, like, what's up, homie? How you doing? This and that. Try to send him some money when I can. But they ain't talking like that, carnal. But and it's crazy. That's why, to me, I say a lot of these guys, not a lot, a few of these guys are out there glamorizing this shit. There is nothing glamorous about being in a cell waiting to die. There's nothing glamorous about just sitting there hungry as hell, no store, no visits. There's nothing glamorous about that, bro. And to me, it reminds me right now when I see on YouTube what it was in the late 80s, early 90s, late 90s, where homies were coming out of jail and they were pumping it up, making it seem all feed to me, hey, homie, yeah, woo, woo, woo. Because around the 2000s and late 2000s, that kind of died off. Fools were like, fuck that, shit, that ain't where it's at, homie. That shit ain't where it's at. But then all of a sudden, now it's like, yeah, homie, we glamorize that shit on TikTok. You got women so happy to be pinta wives, and my man's over here, my man's gonna go. Like, I get it. You guys have a relationship, but is that what we want to be known for nowadays? We want to be known for prison? For jail? That's what we want to be known for? Nah, homie, we should be known for being hard workers, taking care of our families. People say, well, where you been, girl? You're like, oh, I've been here, been that. All right, let me tell you where I've been, homie. I've been to my daughter's graduation in junior high. I've been to my daughter's graduation in high school. I was at my daughter's graduation in elementary school. I went to her prom, or I saw her go to prom. I've been to all my family functions. I've been to all my homies where they passed away. I went to any family members who have passed away. I've been here taking care of my family, homie. That is the hardest flex any man can do. All that, I've been to the pinta. Homie, that's played out, homie. Go run that game on a 15-year-old, carnal. Go run that game on a kid who doesn't know any better. But the same guys who are sit here talking that high power, making all that money with the number one podcast, where you at in the community, fool? What are you doing for your hood? That's what I'm gonna ask. What are you doing for your hood? What work are you putting in your hood, homie? Because most they're not. They're just talking about it. And that's why I said it reminds me this of being in the hood back in the 90s, and I'm going out of YA and I'm putting all this work. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of other homies doing it, but eventually you get busted again, and you're like, what am I doing in here, fool? Fuck this life. You know, we think that it's a box. Nah, man. It's a big, beautiful life out there, fool. You just gotta go out there and get it. You gotta go out there and learn it. But to me, it makes me feel a certain way when I see grown ass men acting like kids, trying to glamorize prison, trying to glamorize their prison career. Hate to break the news, it ain't career, homie. It's just a strike on your record, homeboy. But I get it. You know, when you really have nothing, and the only thing you've got is I went to the joint for 20 years. I get it, bro. That's all you got. I get it. But don't make that the regular for the youngsters that are looking up to you. Don't make that the regular for the homie that's getting out of jail. To me, when we went to the park right here in the hood on Tierra Street on Saturday, there's a few homies there that were doped out a couple years ago. And I mean, majorly on the streets, like in the game, homie. And now those guys are, some are with the church, some are with some nonprofits, going to the gym. Dude, you know how happy it makes me to see my homies be clean, to see my homies progressing in life, to see my homies doing good in the game of life, because that's what the real game is, homie. The game of life. The streets don't care about you, fool. The streets don't give two shits about you. Eat you up, spit you out, and you're back. Jail? For sure, jail don't care about you, carnal. So to me, it's just a hard reality, homie. And I hope that some people will listen to what I'm saying. If you don't, sorry about your luck, fool. Karma and life, it will always win. There is no getting around it. Karma and life will always win. The truth will always come out, bro. So to me, it's stop with the cap, stop with the bullshit. Like I said at the beginning of this video, very simple. Any man who has debriefed and says he has not snitched is identical to a man who sleeps with other men and says he is not gay. It just doesn't make sense. You can't have one without the other. But don't sit here and be all high power, carnal, when everybody knows what you did, homeboy. That being said, players, I'm out of here. This is a quick, short video. And that's it. Maybe I'll come back. Maybe I won't. Either way, you guys have a great